So you're considering joining eXp Realty, except you don't know who to name as your sponsor, let alone your co-sponsor. So how do you even decide, and how would you even know who to put in which position? Well, in this video, I'm gonna shine some light on that and help bring some clarity as to what would make the most sense as far as who should be your primary sponsor and who, if anyone, should be your co-sponsor, and the distinction between those two things. And if you're new to my world, my name is Tyler Roicki. I run a real estate sales organization within eXp Realty called The Herd, which spans over 200 agents in over 30 states, 3 countries. I'm actually currently ranked top 10 in terms of sponsors within eXp Realty, and that's agents personally attracted into the organization. I'm top 10 in the entire company in terms of that. So I've successfully navigated this process and helped quite a few others do the same thing. Now, the primary sponsor, it's important to understand that traditionally that's going to be the person who you have a relationship with within eXp, who has been most influential in your decision to want to join eXp. Now, that being said, there is an additional thing I would highly take into consideration that you're going to want to stick around towards the end of the video, because I'm going to share the one detail that could make or break it for you in terms of who you decide to put in that primary sponsor role, because it will make a meaningful difference, not just for that one person, but for a few other people that could be there to support you depending on who you decide to name as your primary sponsor. Now, that being said, co-sponsorship is something that up until this month has not even been an option. So what I want you to think of first off is, who would you name as your sponsor joining eXp if co-sponsorship was not on the table? If you didn't have that option, who would be that person you'd pick? That's the litmus test as to who it is that would likely be the best pick for your primary sponsor. And I want to be clear too, like, what is important to look for in a sponsor, because unlike the co-sponsor, you cannot change who your sponsor is. Your primary sponsor is locked in, it's for life. You want to make sure that, since that is a long-term relationship, that you are aligning yourself with someone who is rock solid. Ideally, someone who has a track record of success within the eXp organization, who's been around, they have a proven track record, on task, they've built something meaningful that brings some added value to you. They have the ability to answer your calls and share insights where you need it, but someone ultimately who is not going anywhere. And it's hard to gauge that, because I mean, technically you could join with the sponsor who, before you know it, they're gone tomorrow, and then for all intents and purposes you don't have one. But guess what? You can't change that even if that person leaves. So that's why I say, like, find someone solid who's got proven track record, who's built something big and meaningful within the company, because the bigger of something they've built, I'd say the less likely they are to go anywhere. If you're aligning yourself with someone who's like still just trying to get things off the ground, it's a little tricky, because I mean, there's a lot of people who get into this industry and get out. So this is an important thing for you and your business, because this is a senior partner. And if you have an option to find a solid senior partner versus someone you're not really 100% sure has that rock solid foundation, I mean, it's probably going to be more beneficial for you and your business if you can find someone solid to fulfill that spot. But again, it's something you're going to decide one time, but you can't change it later. So make sure you're aligning yourself with someone solid. And I made another video on the channel that I go more into detail as far as what to look for in a sponsor when joining. I highly recommend watching that if you're not already fully clear on who that person should be for you. So let's talk about co-sponsorship, because this rolled out this month, and it's an exciting thing because it gives anyone who is joining the company today the ability to align themselves with a second agent in the organization who brings some added value beyond what their primary sponsors already bring to the table. And there's several use cases I could see for this. Now, I want to be clear, do you need to name a co-sponsor when joining eXp? You don't need to name a co-sponsor when you're joining, but if you see someone besides your primary sponsor connection bringing that additional value, that's where where you have the opportunity to utilize it. Again, I made another video too about co-sponsorship that goes a lot more in detail on it, but for the purposes of this video and comparing the distinctions, it's possible that you want to align yourself with the sponsor that you have a relationship with, and maybe you see someone who could add value specific to your local market area or specific to a niche that you specialize within or want to specialize within, or someone who is a coach or a trainer or someone who teaches agents a specific method or has a community that they've built that you want to be a part of. There might be a way for you to have alignment with that person you have a relationship with and that other person who maybe is a part of a completely different organization. So that's where co-sponsorship really comes into play as something that can be utilized as you're joining the company. Now, it's very important to know that if you're wanting a co-sponsor, you've got to request it immediately after you come on board. There's not a lot of time you have. You have a few days, but if you miss the cutoff, you can't add it later. So best thing to do if you know what's important to you is as soon as you're onboarded and get your welcome to eXp Realty email, once onboarding is complete, go and find the form and submit it. It literally takes about 2 minutes. I was super impressed with how easy it was as I walked someone through it recently, but they'll run it through the system. As long as it checks out, they'll get it added for you right away. So super easy to do that. Just don't forget if it's important for you to add that. So the other thing that I would highly take into consideration if you're going to name a co-sponsor is it's important to understand that your primary sponsor is in a position where they get the upside of you, like whatever production you do and whatever organization you build. Your co-sponsor also gets upside in alignment with helping you build, but their network of senior partners doesn't. Your co-sponsor, like the rev share stops with your co-sponsor. So whoever their sponsor is, and if they have anyone that's built an organization that they're a part of, that you want to be a part of, that person as your co-sponsor, whoever their senior leadership, whoever their upline is, they're not going to be incentivized to help you grow because the rev share stops with your co-sponsor. With your primary sponsor, that's not the case. Their network of senior partners, or as a lot of people will call it, upline, is fully incentivized to help you grow. So if you're looking at between your sponsor, co-sponsor, whoever these two people are, if one of these two people is a part of an organization that it's important for you to be a part of, if that's an important factor in your decision coming on board, I would highly recommend considering putting whoever that person is in the primary sponsor position, because you got to understand, if they're a part of a bigger organization that you're hoping to get value out of, the incentive is not going to be there unless that person is in the primary sponsor position. Otherwise, there's not anything in it for their senior partners, and it's likely that you might not get that added value in that case. So if you're trying to be a part of an organization, make sure you align with that person as your primary sponsor. That aside, obviously you can pick whoever you want, but that aside, it's more than likely going to be the person who you have a relationship with within eXp who's been most influential in your decision to join eXp. If you need to keep it simple, that's the way to think of it. Do you need a co-sponsor? You don't. Now, that being said, if you're trying to figure this out and if you're hoping to find someone that might be a suitable sponsor or co-sponsor, and you're really trying to put the pieces of this puzzle together, I actually have, and I want to be clear, if you're not already connected with someone who's fulfilling that role for you, I have the ability to get you connected with any leader in the company that you would like. I personally know most of the top growth leaders within eXp, many of whom I consider to be friends. If you're watching all of this and you don't have a connection with anyone in the world of eXp, and I'm the first connection you have the opportunity to make, let's have a conversation, and I'm happy to see between myself and whoever you want to bring in as a co-sponsor, if that's what you're really hoping to do. I'm happy to figure out who I can help get you connected with and how we can both work together to help you succeed and really have the most to make some significant strides towards your goals in the time ahead. So I hope this video helped shed some light. And by the way, if you need to connect, you'll find my contact info in the description below. I'd love to meet and have a conversation with you if you need that added value, if you don't already have that connection that you're looking for. And so with all that being said, that's the distinction between primary sponsor, co-sponsor. Again, check out the other videos I've made about sponsorship explained and then co-sponsorship explained. It's gonna walk you through all the insight you want to know as far as what factors in and how it all works between, you know, choosing a sponsor and then ultimately how the co-sponsorship program works and the distinction there. But if you found this video helpful, all I would really ask is that you hit subscribe, because I'm going to continue to share more insights and resources as far as how to navigate the world of real estate, eXp Realty, and even my personal growth and journey in the time ahead. I've built a business that honestly, if I look back 8 years ago, it surpasses, I mean, some goals and dreams I had up to that point that, you know, I don't know if I really knew that one day I'd be living it. I think I hoped, I didn't know. I mean, if you showed me my life today and what I've built, you know, I think it would have seemed surreal at that point. But that being said, I'm working towards significantly bigger goals. And the only way I'm going to get there is if I help enough people grow and progress on this journey. So if I can help any of you in any meaningful way, please connect with me if that speaks to you. But if not, just continue to follow along on the journey. And I'd like to take you with me to kind of show you where I take things from here. And my goal is to add some value to you along the way that can help you build your goal and dream as well. So hit that button. And until next time, I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video.